Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the December reading for the sign of Taurus. Alright, my lovely Tauruses, we're going to get right into it. Now, this reading is going to be essentially about love, or the area of love or relationships for you this month. However, lately, a lot of the readings have also included other areas of your life, and a lot of you, there will be an impact of your career and your business goals on your love life. This seems to be a period now, this ending November and December period, where a lot of our personal ambitions and the desires we have for our lives are also intertwining with the types of relationships we're prepared to enter into, or we're prepared to stay in, right? So the readings are going to just come out the way the cards come out. And so if there aren't much indication of a love connection, then I will let you know of that as well. So let's get right into it, Taurus. And for those of you who are not regulars on my channel, I am a Sagittarius. I have a moon in Leo, but my rising is Taurus. So I really resonate with the Taurus readings a lot. And again, check your own natal placements of the planets and your houses and rising sign to see if maybe another reading in another sign may be more relative to what you're going through. All right, Taurus, straight out the gate, we have Three of Swords. Well, there's a relationship card right there. All right, and a Nine of Cups. Okay. In your conscious mind, you have a Nine of Swords, and in the back of your mind, you have an Eight of Wands. You're coming into this period with a Seven of Swords. And you're coming out of December with a Tower moment. All right, Taurus, you come into the month with a lot of change, and you're met with a victory. Your hopes and dreams and your fears are Chariot, and your outcome is the Fool. Wow. All right. Here we go, Taurus. The world is at the bottom of your deck. Another heavy reading. And this is what I've been saying for the last few weeks. These December readings are going to be heavy hitters because a lot is being exercised. A lot of toxin is being exercised out of our lives and making way for a lot of goals and abundance to come in. All right, Taurus, but let's get right into your reading. At the center, we have Three of Swords, and already I see a couple of sort of really kind of difficult cards on board, but right at the center, we start right off with the doozy, Three of Swords, covered with a Nine of Cups. Taurus, Three of Swords. Let me get into this a little bit. Three of Swords is one of those cards, tarot cards, that is often interpreted as third-party energy. Somebody's cheating on you. Boom, bam, that's it. But Three of Swords is a lot more than that. It's not just that. That is a very simple, almost gross oversimplification of what Three of Swords is really about. Three of Swords, of course, it's a swords card. So initially, we know right away we're talking about communication. We're talking about the way we talk to each other and the thoughts and the way we communicate our thoughts, the way we think about each other. Three is the number for bonding and loyalty. But what we find with Three of Swords is we find that our loyalty has been broken. The trust has been broken because somewhere someone has said something or done something that was not in keeping with what they presented to you, right? They were deceptive, right? They used their words and their actions, because this is a swords card, their words and their actions basically amount to a breaking of the bond, a breaking of loyalty. And oftentimes, of course, the most simple example of that would be someone who lies to you and cheats on you. But where does the pain come from? You know, the pain that we get from a Three of Swords moment is oftentimes associated with the fact that it isn't so much that they've broken your heart. It's the fact that they've insulted your fucking intelligence. You know, they've insulted your intelligence. They've treated your mentality. They've treated you and your mentality, your who you are as a person, they've treated it with contempt. And so in a lot of ways, the pain that we feel when we experience a Three of Swords moment is a pain to our ego. It's a pain of feeling like, wow, you know, somebody got over on us, right? Somebody got over on us. Somebody took us for a ride. Someone lied to me and they broke my heart with their lies. And I take a moment to explain this because not all the time is Three of Swords about a third-party energy. This can also be a relationship where somebody continually abuses you verbally or emotionally, right? That's the essence, you know. Someone who continually makes you feel worthless or someone who stomps on your self-esteem. These are all energies and attributes that are associated with the mental and our sense of ego, our sense of who we are. And this is why Three of Swords, although it is a stab to the heart, it's a swords card. It's a breaking of that type of energy. But you're covered, interestingly enough, with the Nine of Cups. And so your wish, you have a deep wish fulfillment for this to be over. You don't want this. Your desire, this is a relationship, Taurus, I'm going to say for a lot of you, you are involved with someone that you love and that you really wish to have a healthy relationship with, but their mental capacity, their communication is dysfunctional. The way they communicate with you is dysfunctional and hurtful. Their actions are hurtful. This person is probably very spiteful at times or vindictive. This is the type of person who will lash out at you and say things that really they may later on not mean, but it hurts you. And so in this way, you have a desire for this connection because you see deeper into their heart and you want this, you know, you love this person, but it's the way, it's their dysfunctionality and their toxic way of interacting with you that is breaking your heart. In the conscious and unconscious, you also have quite an interesting combination of cards. Nine of Swords is in your conscience, so you're feeling very anxious, regretful. You're having a lot of sleepless nights right now about this situation, right? You feel, part of you is feeling like, is it me? You know, is there something that I've done to continually cause this to happen? Why do I keep wishing for this and yet nothing comes in but pain? You're just being very sort of, you're in a relationship that you feel alone in. Nine of Swords is a feeling of being alone with your problems and your guilt, your anxiety, etc. All the 9 cards, Nine of Swords, Nine of Hearts, Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Hearts, Pentacles, and Wands, they're all associated with journeys that we take on our own because the 9 is the Hermit card. And so in all the 9 cards, we see an essence of the Hermit, an essence of walking this path alone, feeling alienated. And you're in a relationship, Taurus. Some of you are in a relationship with someone that you love, but the connection isn't there because the communication is all fucked up. They don't make you feel good about yourself, but you want to feel good about yourself. You want desperately this relationship really to work out, but to a certain degree, Taurus, you realize that you're dealing with somebody whose problems are not your problems. They're not the problems of the relationship. They're the problems of the way they communicate. And you're just not sure if you can put up with it. In the back of your mind, in the unconscious position, you have the 8 of Wands. And so this is a chaotic amount of feelings and messages and energies coming in right now. You're feeling a lot of different sort of things. And you're just not able to really tease out what is real, what isn't real, which of, there's a lot of miscommunication coming in. It could very well be, again, that this is the source of your anxiety because this person in the back of your mind, on one minute you feel like they love you, the next minute they lash out at you. Or one minute you feel like you're ready to move on, and then the next minute you feel like, no, I can't really move on. The amount of information that's coming in is all very disjointed. It's mixed messages, and it's leaving you feeling very sort of unsure, and really, 8 is the number for boundaries and strengths and weaknesses. And here we talk about a situation where the boundaries have not really been clearly established. And so a lot of the information or a lot of the actions that are coming into you from this connection right, are really chaotic and all over the place. Some things are like, well, you crossed the line there, and then some things aren't, and it's just like, it seems very sort of like you're really not sure. And I think for a lot of you, Taurus, you're probably unwilling to necessarily enforce certain boundaries because you know it will mean the end of this relationship. And so you're trying to be very accommodating, right? Even though you know that some of the actions that are coming in or some of the comments or messages that are coming in from this dynamic just are not healthy or functional. And weeding your way through all of this is becoming very difficult. And it's overwhelming. Again, with 8 and the Strength card, we don't have the Strength card here, but 8 is associated with the Strength card. Of course, Strength is the 8 in the major arcana. But it's also this feeling of being overwhelmed, right? It's too much. And understanding when too much is part of understanding your strengths and weaknesses. And right now, allowing so much to come in and allowing people to this person in particular to continually cross boundaries with you and hurt you and upset you is really overwhelming. And you're realizing that, you're going to very quickly come to a point where you just can't take it anymore. And you know this in the front of your mind as well. I think a lot of this anxiety here is because you see the writing on the wall. And as much as you want this relationship to work out, you know that part of you knows that if it continues down this way, it will not work out. And let's be honest. How many of you have actually been with somebody who's truly dysfunctional and suddenly they fix themselves? I mean, really. If you have, please comment below. Send me a comment. Start a fucking YouTube channel if you have, because guess what? That's like seeing a unicorn. The amount of times that you get involved with people who really have serious dysfunction or serious toxic energy, and the amount of times that you come across a person like that who actually does the work and takes the time and puts the effort into exercising that toxicity in themselves and really becoming a better person is very rare. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the chances of it happening during the course of your little time with them or your little relationship with them is oftentimes slim to none. People change these types of behavior patterns in themselves over the course of a lifetime of learning, getting in relationships, falling out of them, having fucked up relationships, learning from them, and without this methodical, plotting sort of learning process, they never change. And it's certainly if you're dealing with somebody who's in their 40s or 50s, they're not going to change during the course of your 6-month or even 6-year relationship, right? So a lot of times you have to really discern from a situation how much potential is there in this relationship for this person actually to resonate higher and become a better person. If their level of dysfunction and their age and their inability to change or their inability to at least accept that they need to change is at a certain level, then you just have to, you know what I mean? Now you come into this period with a 7 of Swords and a Tower. 7 of Swords is treachery. It's futility. You come into this period, of course, again, very along the whole kind of vibe that I have from this reading. You come into December just having tried everything. Nothing works. Nothing works. 7 of Swords is the card for treachery, right? A lot of times it's associated with people who will be working behind the scenes to bring you down. But 7 of Swords, again, is another card that is a little deeper than that. This is an individual who wants what you have. Not only do they want something that somebody else has, but they generally want what somebody very close to them has. They're not willing to work for it, hence you get the thievery aspect, right? However, nothing they do ever works. Right? Nothing they do ever really works to get their objective. Even here, you can see that the thief has made off with 5 of the 7 swords. He hasn't even been able to carry all 7. This character, this card, this person who resonates with this, yes, oftentimes they're treacherous and they're thieves. But at the heart of all of it is that their actions never seem to amount to much. They never really get the prize, and everything they try is futile. Now, in this particular scenario, Taurus, I don't think that you're being treacherous at all or that you're lying to anyone, but I think the essence of futility is what's coming out. The fact that you really have, or you feel as though you've tried everything and it's just not working. One thing, however, is that oftentimes with this character, the reason why their efforts are futile is because their efforts haven't been altogether sincere. Now, it could very well be that either you or your person have just been putting a half-hearted effort forward in trying to fix these problems with your communication. But wherever wherever the responsibility lays, and I would say that probably it's a bit 50-50, because in all relationships, it takes two to tango. Even if you're in a toxic relationship with someone that you feel is some kind of uber narcissist, you have a role to play in that relationship because you're in it, right? And this idea that you're simply a victim is bullshit. So that's the first thing to step up to the plate with. But more than anything, this is a case of futility on both sides. And I do believe that probably somewhere along the line, there is a feeling of treachery, perhaps, or perhaps this relationship has now become so toxic that you start to feel like not only is this person sort of abusing you with their words and the way they're treating you, but now they're just being very vindictive and spiteful on top of it. They're actually trying to bring you down. And again, that could be another level that this relationship is kind of descending to rather than ascending to. You end this month out with a tower moment, Taurus. A waking up, a realization, a huge realization. I think the realization is going to be, yourself. A wake-up call for yourself. What are you willing to put up with? What kind of toxicity are you willing to allow in your life? And I think the tower moment will also be a wake-up call for you in the sense that how much of this is down to your welcoming it into your life, or how much of this is down to you continually putting up with it, right? In either case, you come out of December with a tower moment in the sense that you have a huge breakthrough in understanding who you are and understanding the nature of your relationships and why they are the way they are. Certainly the nature of this relationship and why it is at the place where it is at. You come into this December period with a lot of changes, Taurus. There's a lot of changes going on in your life financially. Physically, some of you may be moving at the end of the month. There seems to be a lot of turmoil associated with this change. But I'm going to say it's more or less turmoil just because it's so much. There's so much up in the air. There's so much that you're juggling. There's so many different goals and objectives that you're trying to achieve during this period. And it's a case of really just keeping all your ducks in a row and keeping everything up in the air. You can see that the character is really juggling. And behind him, you can see the ocean just, the waves are very, very sort of chaotic and up and down. And this really speaks to the emotionality of this period for you, Taurus. This is a highly emotionally charged period for you. And you have a lot on your plate that you're trying to accomplish. And you're coming into this December period really focused on that. And I think a lot of this focus on this area of your life is helping you to kind of get through this heartbreak that you're having in a relationship that just isn't working out the way you want it to work out. You're met with a victory. And so this December period, a lot of the actions you've taken and a lot of the things you've said, especially in relation to this relationship, you're going to get a victory in some ways. It could very well be that you make a breakthrough with your person. This tower moment could be also a breakthrough. Remember I said earlier that it's very, very rare to be with somebody who is actually going to change their toxic ways during the course of your relationship with them. This could be a possibility here, Taurus. You may actually have found that unicorn. You may have actually found that individual who, yes, they bring a lot of toxicity and dysfunctionality into the relationship, but you actually make a breakthrough with them in a sense that they see that and they really are willing to work on that. That could very well be the source of your tower moment this December, because this feeling of victory that I have coming through for you is quite strong. It's strong, and it feels like a victory on a path of a journey, right? Six of Wands talks about a temporary victory that generally brings in confidence and self-esteem and brings in a sense of energy, right? A sense of endurance to carry on, right? Oftentimes this victory will come in at a time where you haven't had very many victories. You haven't had very many wins. And certainly with regard to this relationship, it may have seemed like you haven't had very many wins. But now in December, with this Tower moment, this understanding that comes in, it could very well be that you find in this one you do have a win. And you say to yourself, wow, you know, maybe this will indeed work out. Now, your hopes and dreams and your outcome. Chariot is in a position of your hopes and dreams and your fears. It's the same position, this position in the Celtic cross spread. And we know that position is associated with both, because oftentimes our greatest dreams and our greatest hopes are associated with our greatest fears. Your hope, though, Taurus, is that you are well and truly on the right path. This is really what you hope for yourself. You want to make sure that you are on your right path this December. Are you following the right path for your career? Are you following the right path in love, right? Is this connection? And again, Nine of Cups, it's a wish fulfillment. It's a feeling of being blessed as well. There is some portion of this relationship that you do feel very strongly about and that you do feel is a blessing. But again, I'm going to say for some of you, it's difficult because it feels so strongly like this is a soulmate connection, a destined connection. But all of the work that has been involved has been so difficult, right? And it has felt so much like, oh God, is this really what a soulmate connection should be like? Again, I say without this victory here, this is a purely toxic situation that won't get better. Some of you, if you experience this victory coming in, if you start to experience moments with your person as a breakthrough, then there is a possibility that your hopes and dreams, right? Your hope is that this person comes with you along this journey, this new path in your life, and your fear is that they won't. Your fear is that maybe they won't be able to come with you on this journey. And so in this way, it's two sides of the same coin. But more than anything, 7 is the number for hopes and dreams, right? I heard somebody say 7 is the number for chaos. It's like nonsense. I never heard that before. 7 is the number for hopes and dreams, people. And so, of course, the Chariot is a vehicle towards our hopes and dreams. And laying the path, preparing the path and making sure that you have everything that you need and that you are bringing the right qualities with you and the right objectives with you is all about laying out that path the best way. Because once the Chariot is engaged, you can't veer off the path. You see, the Chariot isn't moving. A lot of times people consider the Chariot part of motion. It's not about emotion. The Chariot isn't moving yet. You can see the Sphinx is sitting there. This is about preparation. This is about setting your sights, setting your goal. Remember, this is the first 7. The second 7 is star energy, Aquarius. And there we have the active motion of constantly feeding your goal, changing, and making adjustments to your path, to your ultimate ambition. Here with the Chariot, we are just setting out the way, the plan. We're getting everything ready so that once it goes, it goes. You end the month. This month ends off with the Fool. It's a whole new world for you. Very, very interesting that the Fool will come in, Taurus, because literally at the end of December, we start a new year. And this whole new year is like a whole new stage in your life, a whole new path. It will be a wonderful adventure. And one of the things with the Fool is that, of course, a lot of people say, look, he's leaping. One foot is up. He's leaping. He's making a leap of faith. Yeah, that's part of it. The Fool really talks more about making a quantum leap in experience and wisdom. You can't move on to the next stage or path unless you've learned something from where you've been at already. And so the Fool really it's not about taking a leap of faith. It's about the fact that you've taken a quantum leap in your understanding, your wisdom, and your experience. You've learned a life lesson, which is a quantum leap. It's not measurable in any classic way that we're used to. For those physicists out there, it's quantum physics. We know quantum physics is completely different than classical physics, where we have more of a linear way of measuring things. When we talk about a quantum leap, we're talking about a measurement that is relative in comparison to where you were. Now, the Fool talks about making this quantum leap because you have to complete one cycle to be able to start another chapter. And we start another chapter back as the Fool because this is the nature of ascending and descending along the tree of life. You are at different points along the tree of life and you learn and you master certain lessons, and then you go to another point at the tree of life and you become the student again. We are always the student, right? And so in this way, Taurus, this leap of, this quantum leap of experience that you have, and this new sort of, I'm going to say, little leap of faith that you take in moving forward is a huge step for you. It's a beautiful step. And this relationship will either be with you on this journey or not. December is going to decide. Trust me when I tell you, Taurus, some of you are in a relationship that either will be stronger by the end of December or will be gone. It's that simple. Because your life is moving forward and you are very much on a destined sort of path, right? So whatever comes for you in the new year and at the end of December, it is coming for you. There's no way to stop that. Now we just see, you know, is this relationship that you have with this person, is it strong enough to come with you, and are they willing to change and to learn and to grow with you enough to also come with you? And I suspect that the Tower moment, in either case, it will be a Tower moment for you in terms of understanding what the next step is. Let's pull some clarifiers, Taurus, and we will be done with this December love reading. And again, just take what applies to you. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. And let's see what our clarifiers say. 3 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, and the Lovers. There you go. That's it. Right there. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Queen of Swords is at the bottom, of course. Queen of Swords, look at this card. Let me just take a moment with this Queen of Swords with the Thoth deck. Queen of Swords in the Thoth deck, do you see that she is on a throne that is emerging out of the clouds? She looks fucking exhausted, right? She's got a mask in one hand and she has her sword in the other hand, and she just looks like she's been through an exhausting period or stage in her life. Queen of Swords talks about removing our masks that we wear, removing the mask that we wear to the outside world and that we even wear to ourselves when we try to be someone that we're not. Swords is associated with the ego and the mind and communication. How we see ourselves is the way the sword is what Swords is all about. How we see ourselves, how we imagine ourselves, the idea we have of ourselves, that's all ego. How we communicate that self to the outside world, all of that is Swords energy, air energy. Now, with Queen of Swords, we're talking about queens being water. Queens are all associated with water. And here we have the watery or emotional aspect of the mind, Swords. And so in this way, your desire to be who you are, to express yourself without any veil or covering or mask is what comes through with the Queen of Swords. Your heart chakra has to be in touch with the way you go out into the world and the face that you show to the world. It has to be in line with your heart in order for you to be who you are. And it has been an exhausting experience for her to get to that level. You can see she rises out of the clouds in a sense of rising out of confusion, the confusion and the haze that accompanied her before when she was trying to be someone that she isn't. And the exhaustion from trying to be someone that you're not. And now finally she has learned how to cut that mask away, and she's able to sit there and say, ah, world, this is who I am. And now everything is so much clearer to me. Now I know why I was so confused for so long. And this is at the bottom of the deck, and I take a moment to explain this because this is the nature of this experience that you're having right now, Taurus. You are learning very much to you're learning through this that you can't pretend to be happy in a relationship that you're not. You can't pretend to be someone that you're not. And ultimately, happiness will only come in, and healthy relationships will only come in when you're truly honest with who you are to yourself and to those around you. Now, Three of Pentacles comes in over that Nine of Swords. Cooperation, yes, you have a lot of anxiety. You're thinking a lot. Some of you are busy with work, and I feel like that part of this relationship, you have a lot of anxiety and worry because you feel like your relationship is now starting to affect your work, right? It could be that for some of you Tauruses, every time you deal with this person or you get into an argument with this person in this relationship or whatever, it affects your work. And this is a source of some of the anxiety. You realize that you can't carry on with this if it's also going to have such an impact on your ability to carry out your career or your business plans. Right? And so now for some of you, you're waking up to the fact that now this relationship is actually affecting your progress in your life. Eight of Wands is covered by Seven of Cups, right? So there's the confusion because Seven of Cups talks about having a real pie in the sky attitude about something, you know, wishing things to be a fairy tale when they're not. Debauch, you know, Seven of Cups is just really kind of like, you know, just caring about the most excessive parts, you know, not willing to put the work in, just wanting the ease of it all, the excess of it all, you know, the fairy tale side of a relationship without wanting to put the work in or without actually even realizing that that's not how it is. More than anything, Seven of Cups talks about how, you know, a relationship is stagnant and it's not growing because you're not really being honest about, you know, what the nature of this relationship is. You're pretending that it's healthy, but it's not. You know, when you pretend that a relationship is healthy and that it's this fairy tale connection and deep down inside you know that it isn't, you're constantly going to have conflicting messages, mixed feelings coming in. And more than anything, the relationship is going to stagnate because you're never addressing the true nature of your problems. Nine of Pentacles comes in over that Seven of Swords. Now, again, I want to say for some of you, you have been feeling, once again, like very futile. You've been feeling also like, coming in this month with the Seven of Swords, remember there's someone or this feeling of someone wanting what you have. Nine of Pentacles talks about someone who is really gaining work, gaining money. And I think for some of you, you're almost wondering, Taurus, some of you are wondering if... I'm going to say some of you, again, you're working on a career right now, and this is not really much of a surprise. So much abundance and resonating higher. So many of us are resonating higher with regard to our career, our businesses, our abundance. You know, fortune and favor are coming in this area. Some of you Taurus are indeed gaining, right? Nine of Pentacles is the card for gain and money beginning to come in, rewards coming in for all your hard work. This is generally somebody who's extremely ambitious, right? And so I wonder for some of you, you may be feeling as though like, you know, this situation that you're coming into, you know, is so futile, but you're gaining so much in another area of your life. Is it really worth it? You know, your life is about to take off, Taurus. A lot of you are taking off again in your careers, in your businesses. Things are happening. You're on a chariot. There's going to be a lot of financial changes in a positive way for you. And I think for a lot of you, it's this feeling of like, yeah, you know, is it worth it? You know, why? You know, if I'm banging my head up against the wall in this relationship and nothing is working, but the rest of my life is really progressing so far forward, you know, do I really have the time for this? Do I really want to continue putting energy into something that isn't working when right now my career and my business is calling for all my energy, and right now so many good things are coming into me? I think a lot of you are also feeling like, you know what, I don't need this because good things are starting to come in for you. Because your career is starting to pick up or your business is starting to pick up, I think it's giving you a lot of confidence to deal with this situation and kind of turn your back and say, well, you know, I have a lot of other good things going for me right now. I don't need to continue to bang my head up against the wall with this situation that's just making me feel bad. The Tower, and this is the most interesting. The Tower has come up, and what did I say earlier? The Tower is going to involve a realization that either this relationship is going to work and come with you on this journey or it isn't. And Gemini talks about that. I say Gemini because the Lover's card is associated with Gemini. And it's the twins, it's the duality, it's the contradiction, the melding of contradictions, the coming together of opposites. With the Lovers card, 6 major arcana. 6 is the journey towards harmony. And in all journey towards harmony, we know that there will be work that is involved, right? Lovers can't come together without understanding the work that is involved and the fact that you are two halves of a whole coming together and that you need to learn from each other. This is the essence of a healthy relationship. Now, some relationships have it and some don't. But you need it in order for a soulmate or twin flame connection to actually be functional, healthy, and progress forward. And it's no surprise at all to me, Taurus, that lovers will come out over this Tower card because the Tower moment that you're having is going to be the realization, either way, that either this is the unicorn sort of that you've been looking for, in the sense that despite your problems, you both are actually able to work through them and get over them. Or that this is indeed, no matter how much you love this person, no matter how much you felt like this was a great connection, this is just not going to work because the effort is not there, the intention is not there, and so you will have to say goodbye to it no matter how much you love them. World is at the bottom of this deck to let you know that everything right now is happening in a very fated and destined way, Taurus. And more than anything, this December is very much a learning month for you. And a lot of what is going to play out is really, to a certain degree, out of your hands in a way. More or less what it will be about is just realizations and understandings. But the actual ability to change the nature of this situation is really out of your hands. You know, the nature of this connection and whether or not it is functional and healthy enough to progress forward, it's just something that's going to be revealed in December, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's something that you can impact personally, right? They are who they are. You are who you are. And either it has it or it doesn't, but you just don't know just now because you're kind of still working through all of the issues. All right, Taurus, this is your reading for December. It was a long one. It was a heavy one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some clarity. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to give me a comment in the comment description below. And don't forget to hit the bell because I do premiere all my videos. So if you want to be there for the live premiere, you want to chat, you want to talk about what's going on with your situation, or you're a cross watcher and you have a question or you want to talk, please go ahead and hit that bell, and then you'll get notified when my videos are premiered. All my videos are premiered. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by Bow and Arrow Tarot. Taurus, have a wonderful December. I'll see you mid-month for your mid-month love check-in. Bye-bye now.